Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture the Salinas River, south of Soledad. It's warm, the water's green and deep.
Sycamores around the banks.
Exactly. And you see those animal tracks in the sand near the water. Rabbits, raccoons, dogs, deer too.
It feels very peaceful, but there's also this path, right? Beaten hard by people passing through.
Yeah, a path used by boys going swimming and, well, tramps moving along the river. It feels lived in.
And that's really where we're starting our deep dive today. Right into those opening pages of Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men.
We really want to dig into how he introduces these two main characters, George and Lenny, and just their immediate situation.
Yeah, what hits you first? For me, it's that immediate contrast.
Oh, definitely. Our source text, by the way, is the beginning of the novel itself, the Penguin Books edition. We need to acknowledge that copyright, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yes, the contrast. You have one guy, small, quick, sharp features, and the other.
Huge. Shapeless face, lumbering walk, total opposites physically.
And their clothes are almost uniforms, aren't they? Denim trousers, coats with brass buttons, those shapeless hats.
Practical stuff. And they've both got blanket rolls, bindles slung over their shoulders. Tells you they're traveling, moving around for work.
So they reach this pool, this clearing by the river, and George, the small one, he stops, takes it in.
But Lenny,
No.
he just drops his blankets and goes straight for the water.
And drinks like a horse, just plunges his whole head in. It's such a raw, instinctual action.
And George immediately clocks it. He's wearing.
Yeah, it's Lenny. You drink some, Lenny, and then warns him.
Looks kind of scummy, that's what he says. He's not sure it's good water.
Right. George is thinking, observing, assessing potential danger, even in something simple like water. Lenny's just thirsty. He enjoys the sensation.
It shows that difference right away. George is the planner, the cautious one.
And even when George drinks, he does it differently. Quickly, scooping with his hand, but still with that hesitation Lenny lacks.
It really establishes George's role, doesn't it? Looking out for both of them.
Absolutely, and then we get that little bit about the journey while they're walking.
Ah, yes, the bus. George is clearly annoyed.
He said something like, just a little stretch down the highway, implying Lenny's bad sense of direction, or maybe just his slowness, made them miss the bus driver dropping him closer.
He's frustrated. Calls him a crazy bastard.
Yeah, but it sounds almost worn in, that frustration, like it's not the first time.
No, definitely not. And Lenny's response is so typical, isn't it?
I forgot, and then tried not to forget. Honest to God, I did, George. He knows he messes up, but he can't seem to help it.
He wants to please George, but his mind just works differently.
Which leads right into those crucial instructions for the ranch.
Oh, yeah. This is key. George repeats it, drills it in.
So you forgot that too, did you? Well, I ain't gonna remind you, fear you do it again. But then he does remind him.
He has to. He tells him, whatever happens at the ranch interview, Lenny has to keep quiet. Don't say a word.
Just stand there and let George do the talking.
And the stakes are high. If you just happen to say something, George warns, we won't get no job.
It tells you straight away that Lenny talking has cost them jobs before. Their survival hinges on Lenny controlling himself.
Which, based on what we've just seen, seems like a tall order.
And Lenny tries so hard. He repeats George's posture, his words. I won't say nothing, George, like a child promising to be good.
It really highlights that dependence. He looks to George for everything.
And just as you're absorbing that dynamic, boom, the mouse.
Right. George notices Lenny's hand going into his pocket. He knows instantly.
What do you got in your pocket? His tone changes. It's sharp, demanding.
Lenny tries to deny it. Ain't got nothing, George. But George knows better.
Give it here. And Lenny eventually pulls out this dead mouse.
And his explanation is so, Lenny?
I found it dead. He insists he didn't kill it. He just wanted to pet it with his thumb as they walked along.
It shows that gentle impulse he has, but also that complete lack of understanding about, well, death, fragility, maybe his own strength.
And George is just exasperated. Well, you ain't petting no mice while you walk with me.
Then comes that critical line mentioning weed.
Yeah, you crazy fool.
Okay.
You think I'd let you carry your own work card. And the reason, what Lenny did in weed.
Steinbeck doesn't give details yet, but it hangs there. Something bad happened because of Lenny, something that made them run, probably related to this petting thing.
It adds this layer of unease, foreshadowing, definitely. We know there's a pattern.
So the plan is clear. They're heading to a ranch nearby for work, but they'll go in the morning.
Right. George decides they'll stay by the river for the night. Camp out.
And again, you see George taking charge. Practical. He gathers wood for a fire.
Willow sticks. And he checks. His bindle knows exactly what they have. 3 cans of beans, supper.
Simple fare, but then Lenny pipes up.
I like beans with ketchup.
Ha, yes. It's such a small thing, but it feels so real. That little desire for something extra, some small comfort.
It makes him human, doesn't it? Despite everything. But then, the mouse issue isn't quite over.
Nope. Lenny tries to sneak off, presumably to get the mouse back where George threw it.
And George catches him immediately. He knows Lenny too well.
What are you trying to put over? He asks, then demands the mouse again. Goddamn well what? I want that mouse.
The anger flares up.
Yeah.
But it also feels tired. Like he's been through this exact routine countless times.
Lenny tries one last plea. I wasn't doing nothing bad with it, George, just stroking it.
But George is firm. He takes the mouse again.
And this time he throws it really far across the pool into the brush where Lenny can't easily find it. A more decisive action.
And then he explains, almost wearily, why Lenny can't have mice. Because he kills them.
He mentions Aunt Clara, who used to give Lenny mice, but he'd always pinch their heads and kill them.
And not just mice. George says Lenny even killed a puppy that way. It confirms that this isn't just about mice. It's about Lenny not knowing his own strength, about this pattern of accidental destruction.
It's a really heavy moment, dropped in quite casually. Sets a somber tone as they settle down for the night.
So wrapping up our look at just these first few pages, what really stands out for you?
For me, it's that incredibly clear picture of their relationship, the stark contrast in their personalities, but also the absolute codependence. George the protector, Lenny the follower.
Yeah, that's spot on. And their immediate goal is simple get work. But looming over everything is this sense of fragility, this foreshadowing that Lenny's nature is going to cause problems. You feel the tension already.
Definitely. The past incident in Weed, the dead mouse, the warnings, it all points towards potential trouble at the new ranch.
So maybe the question for you listening is, what do these opening scenes really signal about the kind of challenges George and Lenny are constantly up against? What does their dynamic suggest about their chances for success or even just survival at this new place?
Yeah, what future can you see for them just based on this powerful opening? It gives you a lot to think about, doesn't it?
It really does. And just a reminder, the excerpts giving us this fantastic start to Of Mice and Men came via lovereadingforkids.co.uk. It's a great site if you're looking for books for kids or, well, anyone, really. Good resource.